She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house. In Belgravia, belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her. She says she met you in 2001. She dined with you. She danced with you. You bought her drinks. You were in Tramp nightclub in London. And she went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia, belonging to Ghislaine.
Welcome, mi gente. Welcome, my people. This is Majesty's Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio, and it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you for taking some of your precious time and spending it with us here. Thank you. I absolutely appreciate it. In today's podcast, we will be continuing on our journey with Endgame. By Omid Scobie. We will be discussing chapter 6, which is entitled Fall of Prince Andrew. Scandal, Shame, and Silencing Jane Doe. And folks, trust me, I did not plan it that way, that it would coincide with the release of, those, the deposition documents of the Epstein case. Didn't plan it at all. It was just yesterday, as I was preparing this and trying to get it out actually yesterday, that, I saw this chatter happening and I was like, what's going on? And then I go, holy cow, I am actually going to be talking about chapter 6. Anyways, I didn't get it sort of completed the way I wanted it on time. So you're getting it today. And same good content. So the depositions of Maxwell and Virginia Goffrey, along with depositions from Joanna Stolberg, who said that in her documentation, she describes Prince Andrew touching her upper body area. That's the best way I can say it without, I don't even know if that's something they would censor. So just to make sure I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing or saying. So people, that was completely coincidental. But hey, we will be discussing, that exact topic here with chapter 6 from the book. But before we start with that, I wanted to just have a moment of gratitude. I am so grateful. Yesterday, I had this stupid smile on my face because the way the video vlog was received was just incredible. And I guess the reason why also I take it so I don't want to say personal, because it is personal. It's something that I'm creating, that I'm actually doing, but there's a lot of labor that goes into it, and I wanted to actually get it out sooner, but my poor laptop kept crashing because I have so many images, right, that I've downloaded, and there's only so much space. So my laptop started to go slow. It crashed a couple of times, and I was like, oh my gosh, no. So I ended up actually buying an external drive, so that has helped enormously. But thank you for appreciating the sort of vision, and for being so kind and wonderful and welcoming, and I just absolutely loved your comments. Thank you so very much. It's really great when one's work is appreciated in such a beautiful way, and that doesn't mean I don't. I'm not open for constructive criticism. I always am, as long as it's constructive, right? So thank you so very much. But here is another thing. So it's the fastest viewed video I've ever done, and it reached 2,000 views in less than 24 hours. And for me, that's a big deal. Okay, I'm sure for other channels it probably isn't, but for me it is. So I was kind of really proud and all of that. But as a consequence of that, I started to get a lot of, and you know what it is, a lot of those messages that say the same things that they were saying 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I was just deleting them, delete. But they were coming faster. So I had to change tactic. And what I've done for the comment section is every comment now is on hold. So until I review it, then it's actually posted. Okay, so if you haven't seen your message on the page yet, my apologies, but as soon as I review it and make sure it's okay, you will see it posted on the page. At the same time, almost simultaneously, which I found really bizarre and strange, I started to get one email after another from this platform, from YouTube, basically saying to me, oh well, this video can't be monetized, this other podcast can be monetized. And almost for every single one that I've done, they've demonetized all of them. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like, this is the strangest thing, because it was all happening at the same time, right? The numbers of people viewing the video was increasing rapidly. Then I started to get all these like deranged messages, and then emails coming from YouTube, bam, 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 of stuff that I've posted months ago that was completely okay, that was cleared, and now they say no, there was this needs to happen, or this to happen, or this happened, or this. And I understand, right, that they can come back at any time and say, oh well, you use this or use that, and they've already demonetized 2 of the videos that I did, and I was okay with it because I did use content from somewhere else, and I used it to, I didn't cover it up or anything, so I was okay with those 2. But now all of my videos, and just to give you some insight, like this channel is not monetized yet. That will not happen until we achieve 1,000 subscribers. So once we hit 1,000 subscribers, then it goes into this other bracket or this other thing that makes the channel then become monetized. So for any of you who have been so generous and have donated or given a super thanks or any and any of that, it's sort of like on hold in a bank, YouTube bank. So once we've hit 1,000 subscribers, then that monetization thing is activated. But I found it so fascinating that so I have to go back now. And just so you folks know, I pay for all of my music. So all the music that you folks hear on this channel, I've paid for it, right? Because I know the rules. So I have to go now find, because I usually don't pay attention to the certification and stuff and the licensing. So I have to go and find each one and such a pain. But it was so weird. Almost all my music that I've added, they're like, oh, we demonetizing the entire thing. Anyways, just wanted you folks to know that is happening and how bizarre it all was. But at the same time, it was such a great feeling to see, one of my videos go so quickly to hit 2,000 views. Gee, thank you to all of you that started to watch it and started to comment, and it basically told the algorithm to allow more people to watch it. So thank you so very much. There is power in unity. Well, that's it. So let's get to this summary and commentary. So let's get it on. As we delve into the text, the scene is painted of a beleaguered Duke of York, Andrew, embarking on a sober drive to Windsor Castle on a cold January morning in 2022. His demeanor and appearance, exhausted and clad in a rumpled suit, are in stark contrast to the royal grandeur one might expect. This journey symbolizes a significant turning point in his life, one where years of unfavorable headlines and Queen Elizabeth II's disapproval are culminating in tangible consequences for his actions. Central to Andrew's downfall is this association with Jeffrey Epstein, a notorious figure whose criminal activities have left a lasting scar on many. Andrew's involvement with Virginia Giuffre, I think that's the way her last name is pronounced. I might be pronouncing it completely incorrectly. Giuffre, who alleges sexual assault when she was a minor, further compounds his troubles. These allegations, which Andrew denies, have not only brought shame to him, but also to his family and the British monarchy. The chapter highlights the leniency Andrew had previously received from the royal family, with his only penalty until then being a step back from royal duties in November of 2019. However, the current situation is markedly different. The Queen is set to strip him of his HRH title, military honors, and royal roles as a significant and public demotion. The narrative touches on Andrew's financial troubles, particularly regarding a potential settlement with Giuffre, and how he might be reliant on the Queen's financial assistance. His arrival at Windsor Castle once a place of warmth and welcome, now feels starkly different, a reflection of his changed circumstances. Interestingly, the book notes that while the Queen is the face of his reckoning, it was Prince William who initiated these drastic measures. William, acutely aware of the damage to the monarchy's reputation, felt the family had been too lenient and sought a firmer response. So the stage is set, basically, and basically on the first page of this chapter, of a deeper exploration of Prince Andrew's fall from grace, showcasing the intricate dynamics between the royal family and the heavy toll of public scandal. The chapter reveals that Prince William's snapping point was a catalyst for action against Andrew. This moment was amplified by an open letter from 152 veterans of the British Armed Forces to the Queen, calling for the removal of Andrew's honorary military titles. The veterans' letter, a rare form of public rebuke from a typically supportive establishment wing, signaled a significant shift in the royal family's approach to the crisis. The military stance, aligning with the public outcry, indicated that the urgent need for decisive action. Prince William, portrayed as proactive and determined, is shown taking initiative where others hesitated. His private secretary, Jean-Christophe Gray, described as a meticulous bureaucrat, assists William in preparing for Andrew's ouster. The chapter paints a picture of Charles and the Queen as reluctant to confront Andrew directly. Charles, despite his disdain for Andrew's indiscretions, is depicted as unwilling to be the one to take action against his brother. The Queen, traditionally more lenient towards Andrew, her reportedly favorite son, appears hesitant to intervene. The narrative also touches upon the Queen's historical leniency towards Andrew. Even in 2011, when Andrew faced criticism over his association with Epstein, it was not the Queen, but others in the establishment who pushed for his removal from the UK trade envoy role. The Queen's perceived blind spot for Andrew is highlighted with sources suggesting she believed in his innocence and often appeared aloof about the scandal. Prince Philip's role in the family is also emphasized here. Known for his decisive nature and unwillingness to tolerate missteps, even within the family, Philip's influence and leadership are contrast with the Queen's more restrained approach. His death in April of 2021 is noted as a significant loss to the family's ability to manage private matters effectively. The chapter paints a complex picture of the royal family internal dynamics, showcasing the challenges they faced in dealing with Prince Andrew's scandal. The narrative highlights the contrasting approaches of key family members, particularly William's assertiveness and the Queen's reluctance in navigating this delicate and public crisis. The chapter continues to reflect on Prince Andrew's character, acknowledging his occasional brusqueness and lack of outward empathy, yet also recognizing a sensitive side that was cherished within the family. He was seen as a caring influence, particularly evident in his support for Princess Diana during her struggles, despite his initial reservations about Camilla. His insistence that William and Harry walk behind Diana's coffin, however, is portrayed as a misjudgment, highlighting the complexity of his influence within the royal family. As the focus shifts back to Prince Andrew, the narrative underscores the pivotal role of Prince William in the decision to address Andrew's scandal head-on. William's meeting with the Queen at Windsor Castle is described as a significant turning point. During this meeting, which lasted over an hour, they discussed the necessity of stripping Andrew of his royal titles and duties. The Queen initially was reluctant, ultimately agrees to this course of action, a decision that is portrayed as both sad and necessary. The narrative paints Charles as somewhat detached from the situation, agreeing with the need for action, but leaving the difficult decisions to the Queen and William. There is a suggestion that aides at Clarence House later tried to spin the narrative to suggest Charles and William were united in their approach from the very beginning. The chapter also touches on the unique relationship between Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, noting their cohabitation and mutual support despite their divorce. Sarah's support for Andrew is highlighted even in the face of his ongoing scandals. In exploring Andrew's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, the narrative emphasizes Andrew's failure to distance himself from Epstein following his first arrest, a decision that is widely criticized. The book describes how Andrew continued to associate with Epstein even after Epstein's conviction and plea deal and attending parties and social events at his house. So even after that had happened, Andrew still continued to attend parties and social events with Epstein. A detailed recounting of Andrew's disastrous Newsnight interview in 2019. This interview is portrayed as a catastrophic attempt to salvage his public image, filled with unconvincing excuses and a lack of empathy for Epstein's victims. The interview is depicted as a turning point that exacerbated Andrew's public and royal family disgrace. The narrative then goes into the aftermath of Prince Andrew's Newsnight interview, his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, and the legal and public relations challenges faced by the royal family at this point. It shows with a reflection on Prince Andrew's state following the Newsnight interview, where he was perceived as out of touch with reality. Despite the public's negative reaction, Andrew initially considered the interview a personal victory. When I read it, I went, what? Okay, so illustrating a significant disconnect from public perception or even awareness. The chapter then explores Andrew's association with Epstein, portraying Andrew as easily influenced and drawn to Epstein's for both financial connections and social clout. This mutually beneficial relationship saw Andrew invite Epstein to royal events and residences, granting him unprecedented access to the royal inner circle. However, Andrew's judgment and awareness are called into question, particularly in light of his continued association with Epstein after his first arrest. A key element for this section is the infamous photograph of Andrew with Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell. The narrative describes the photo as a damning piece of evidence, despite attempts by Andrew's camp to discredit it. The FBI confirmation of the photograph authenticity further determines Andrew's defense. Further undermines Andrew's defense. The chapter touches on the media's role in the scandal, highlighting challenges faced by journalists in reporting on the story due to legal and institutional pressures. They are anecdotes of both subtle and overt attempts to suppress coverage of the scandal, including intimidation tactics used against journalists and media outlets. Buckingham Palace response to the allegations against Andrew is depicted as protective, with officials initially denying any impropriety. However, as Giuffre becomes more vocal and legal action looms, the palace stance appears to increasingly become untenable. The narrative continues with the decision to settle the lawsuit against Prince Andrew's decision, because according to the chapter, he wanted to go to court. He wanted to fight it to prove his innocence. Despite what it would have, the high cost that it would have been. Key figures like Sir Edward Young, the Queen's private secretary, and Sir Clive Alberton, Charles' private secretary, played significant roles in this decision. The Queen ultimately agrees to cover the settlement cost, which amounted to, are you ready? Approximately £12 million. For something he didn't do, and he never met this woman. They paid £12 million. So £12 million paid to Virginia Giuffre Victim Relief Organization. Ah, boy. This also highlights Andrew's financial dependency on the Queen, as he lacked the personal funds to settle the lawsuit. The settlement reached just before a scheduled court deposition. It is portrayed as a strategic move to avoid further legal battles and public scrutiny. The narrative then delves into Andrew's attempt to control the narrative post-settlement, with efforts to inform journalists that the settlement was more about easing the burden on the Queen and an institution than an admission of guilt. The agreement included a speculation preventing public comments, both in the case of both parties. The book describes the Queen's belief that Andrew could eventually repair his image through philanthropic endeavors, if you not universally shared within the royal family. The narrative also touches on Andrew's attempt to engage in charitable activities, which are met with skepticism, particularly by Prince William. Prince Andrew's history of very poor judgment and controversial associations is extensively detailed. The narrative recounts his relationship with various controversial figures, including autocrats and autocratic leaders, convicted criminals. His tenure as the United Kingdom's trade and investment special envoy, is highlighted, emphasizing his questionable judgment and lavish lifestyle funded by the public purse. The narrative concludes with a reflection on the ongoing challenges that Andrew poses to the monarchy. Despite King Charles' continued financial support, there is a sense of unease about Andrew's potential to cause further damage to the royal family reputation. The book suggests that, the chapter suggests that Prince William, unlike his father, may not be inclined to support Andrew unconditionally due to his assertiveness in protecting the crown's interest. I find this whole thing about Prince William very fascinating in the book, and especially in this chapter, right? So it really sort of paints this interesting narrative of the inner workings of how they dealt with Andrew and the settlement, and they found the £12 million really quickly. I would say, if I were to summarize it, it would be this chapter delves into the scandal surrounding Prince Andrew, detailing his fall from grace within the royal family and the public eye. The chapter meticulously outlines the events leading to and following his infamous association with Jeffrey Epstein and the resultant legal battles. It highlights the internal dynamics of the royal family, particularly the roles of Prince William and the Queen and Prince Charles in responding to this crisis. The narrative also explores the public and media reactions to the scandal, the challenges in reporting it, and the broader implications for the royal family's image. Oh boy, this is something, eh? I'll be back with a comment. Prince Andrew's scandal, as detailed in Omid Scobie's Endgame, is steeped in allegations of serious criminal conduct, ties with a convicted sex offender, and a lawsuit settlement suggesting a certain degree of culpability, or at least a significant reputational damage control. Despite these grave implications, Prince Andrew has retained certain privileges, such as continued security provisions and residence in the royal property, This indulgence, even in the face of public scandal, points a deep-rooted system of traditional privilege and protection within the royal family, seemingly resilient to external pressure or accountability. In stark contrast, you folks know where I'm heading. In stark contrast, Prince Harry, who has not been implicated in any criminal activity, faced a very different reality. His decision to step back from royal duties, largely driven, right, by how his family was being treated. So one may say maybe personal and family considerations, right, was met with the immediate stripping of security and other royal privileges. This desperate treatment raises important questions about the criteria and motivations driving the royal families and their establishment decisions. While Andrew's scandals are mired in legal and ethical controversy, Harry's choices were more about personal autonomy and a new approach to royal life. The press role in shaping the narrative around these two figures has been significant. Some segments of the UK media have attempted to create this sort of parallel between Andrew and Harry, suggesting a likeness in the gravity of their situation. This is not only misleading, but also diminishes the seriousness of the allegations against Andrew. It unfairly places Harry in the same basket, despite the absence of any criminal or ethical conduct on his behalf or on his part. Furthermore, the public's reaction to these two cases reflects or hopefully, a changing tide in societal values. There's a growing expectation for transparency, accountability, and modernization within the monarchy, contrasting with the traditionalist approach that seems to shield certain members from the full consequences of their actions. The support for Harry and his family, especially in light of their security concerns versus the criticism of Andrew, showcases a public increasingly uncomfortable with on accountability and privilege, right? And I will say that I come to that sort of conclusion based on not what the UK media has done, right? But based on people like us that see through all that nonsense and are able to empathize and are able to understand the difference between the two and what the media has been trying to do. The different treatment of Prince Andrew and Prince Harry are emblematic of a broader societal and institutional dynamics at play within the UK monarchy. They highlight the tension between traditional privilege and modern expectations of accountability, as well as the power of media narratives in shaping public perception. This situation invites a deeper reflection on the values and future direction of the British monarchy in a rapidly evolving societal landscape. And while we're at it, at the British media and the British press. And I'm telling you, Prince Harry is doing his thing, slaying some dragons. I'll conclude by saying this. Privilege in its many forms stands as a silent testament to our shared humanity, yet simultaneously divides us with its invisible yet palpable walls. Like the air that we breathe, it is both ubiquitous and unseen, shaping our lives in ways we seldom acknowledge. James Baldwin, that great American, with his unerring insight, might have said that it is not just the possession of privilege that defines a person, but their awareness of it and the responsibility they take for it. True equality, he would argue, is not just the leveling of the field, but the awakening of the soul to the inherent worth and dignity of every person. It demands of us not just a change in laws, but a transformation of hearts, a journey towards a collective consciousness where every human being is valued, not for what they have, but for who they are. Well, and just like that, we conclude today's podcast on the fall of Prince Andrew, chapter 6 in Endgame, book written by Omid Scobie. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it, a little bit of an understanding, perhaps, and the relationships between, the royal family members, or the lack of, maybe, and how privilege, when one is born into such level of privilege, and what does one do with it? As these names or so on are being exposed, it's there's a lot of questions that I think as a society we need to ask ourselves. But anyways, thank you so much for taking the time for being here, and thank you for your support to this channel. Please subscribe, comment, and thumbs up for a like. And I hope to see you back again for our next episode. Take care. Ciao.